Bombs away on the first day of the Republican-controlled Congress, an insurrection by House conservatives, and veto threats by the president over Keystone and Obamacare. Welcome to day one. This is Special Report. Good evening, I'm Brett Baer. Republicans now control both chambers of Congress for the first time since 2006. But instead of celebrating the first day of the 114th Congress, the GOP is fighting within itself, and with a Democratic president who appears to be in no mood to compromise. We have Fox team coverage tonight. Ed Henry's at the White House with the president whose words about cooperation with the new Congress are not lining up with his actions. But we begin with Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel on Capitol Hill tonight. Hi, Mike.
Well, Brett, good evening. On day one of the 114th Congress, hours after bipartisan legislation was unveiled, sponsored by 54 Republicans and 6 Democrats in the Senate, the White House announced President Obama would veto it. After introducing the Keystone XL pipeline bill, North Dakota Republican John Hoeven said now there's a push to make it veto-proof.
We're pleased at this point we have 60 sponsors on this bill. So it's a bipartisan bill. We already have 60 sponsors on the bill. We've got about 63 that have indicated they support it.
A recent Fox poll revealed nearly 7 out of 10 voters, 68%, support building the pipeline. And a spokesman for TransCanada noted this is well past the 6-year mark, reviewing the final phase with seemingly no end in sight. Yet at the White House, Josh Earnest said this bill isn't much different than Keystone legislation in the last Congress.
And I can confirm for you that if this bill passes this Congress, the president wouldn't sign it either.
White House ally, Illinois Democrat Dick Durbin, objected to a resolution allowing the Senate Energy Committee to meet tomorrow, so a hearing on Keystone has been canceled. The new Majority Leader, Republican Mitch McConnell, pushed to begin the process on the Senate floor.
Everyone knows the first measure that's going to be up is going to come out of the Energy Committee. I would say to my friends on the minority side, it'll be open for amendment. Why don't we get started?
The new Minority Leader, Reid, wasn't on Capitol Hill today, but released a video.
We're going to continue to fight.
He's recovering from a concussion, broken bones in his face, and 3 broken ribs following an exercise accident. Bill sponsor, West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin, says he hopes allowing amendments, which Reid rarely did, will build support for the bill.
It'll be a very energetic process that we go through. Everyone's excited about getting down to business and getting something accomplished, but having an open access and open process to it. So we're looking forward to that.
Mr. Speaker.
In the House, John Boehner was elected Speaker for a 3rd term. Boehner faced a challenge from 3 conservatives, with Florida's Daniel Webster receiving 12 votes, Louis Gohmert from Texas with 3 votes, and Ted Yoho of Florida earning 2 votes. After his victory, Boehner sounded eager to get started.
We'll begin our work on this common ground, taking up measures to develop North American energy, restore the hours of middle-class workers, and help small businesses hire more of our veterans.
Republican leaders note President Obama did not issue a formal veto threat when Louisiana Democrat Senator Mary Landrieu was trying to save her job last month with the very same bill. Brett?
Mike Emanuel live on a busy Capitol Hill tonight. Mike, thanks. Let's get more now on the president's approach to the new Republican-controlled Congress. Here's Chief White House Correspondent Ed Henry.
We had a chance to President Obama chose an in-your-face path, picking this day of new beginnings to issue his first 2 veto threats of the year, and meeting with a bipartisan group of governors rather than congressional Republicans, who will come to the White House next week.
My main message to these governors is going to be, let's figure out how to work together, and that's the same message that I'm going to have for Congress.
Yet the president may have sent the opposite message, that he's really planning to go around Congress by having aides declare he will veto a bill to change his health care law by restoring a 40-hour work week, plus use a pending court case in Nebraska to veto construction of the Keystone XL pipeline, which the State Department has studied for 6 years.
Day one, we'll veto this bill. Doesn't that send an odd signal for cooperation?
I guess, Ed, to pick up on your metaphor about pipelines, I guess, that spirit of good feelings flows both ways between Congress and Capitol Hill.
White House aides believe the onus is now on Republicans to show they can govern, though GOP leaders charge the president is not listening to the American people when he tees up more unilateral action. A Fox News poll last month over the president's job performance on immigration found 36% approve and 60% disapprove. Yet today in the Oval Office, Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto gave Mr. Obama a ringing endorsement.
I have made acknowledgement of the very intelligent and audacious decision of your administration regarding the executive action for immigration.
Republicans like Rick Perry are still urging the president to come to the southern border for an up-close look at what's really happening. The Texas governor recently telling Fox's Brett Baer that at their meeting last year, the president was unaware the Border Patrol is not actually positioned right on the border.
He looked over at Jarrett and said, "Is that right, Valerie?" And I said, "Mr. President, that's right, I can promise you." And he did not know that his Border Patrol was 40 to 50 miles back away from the border in an apprehension type of a mode rather than up on the border.
Today, the president also defended his executive action on Cuba, telling President Peña Nieto it will be a key part of the Summit of the Americas in Panama this April.
I described my initiative to end the 50-year policy with relation to Cuba, to move towards what we hope will be a more constructive policy, but one that continues to emphasize human rights and democracy.
Now, the big question on human rights is whether Cuba will live up to its end of the deal after the communist government threw more dissidents into jail late last month. As for those 53 political prisoners who are supposed to be released from Cuban jails, their status still murky. Brett?
Ed Henry live on the North Lawn. Ed, thank you. Speaking of Cuba, the president's recent outreach to Cuba is causing big headaches for the U.S. Coast Guard. That's because it's led to a surge of Cubans trying to make it to the U.S. before things change. Correspondent Steve Harrigan has the story tonight from Miami.
The number of Cubans intercepted at sea by the U.S. Coast Guard is up 164% after last month's announcement that the United States would soften sanctions against the Castro regime. Officials say the spike is based on a false rumor that a favorable immigration policy for Cuban migrants could soon be scrapped.
We're seeing more and more migrants taking to the sea, putting their lives in harm's way, trying to get to the United States because they believe their window of opportunity is closing.
For 20 years, Cubans have been the exclusive beneficiaries of a wet foot, dry foot policy. Cuban migrants detained on water, wet foot, are returned home, while those who make it to land in the U.S., dry foot, get fast-track legal residency and eventual citizenship. With the Obama administration considering the reopening of an embassy in Havana, there's widespread speculation that the wet foot, dry foot policy could end suddenly. The number of Cubans willing to risk all continues to grow. The Coast Guard returned 121 Cubans trying to escape the communist island Monday. Alberto Sanchez was asked why he tried for a 9th time to make the 90-mile crossing.
In Cuba, you go to bed, and you go to bed worried because the next day, reality is, what are you going to eat and what are you going to do?
The desperation can be seen in the vessels, inner tubes, a 1951 Chevy truck with a propeller, and just this week, a bedsheet sailboat crammed with 24 passengers. The Coast Guard says most vessels have no communication or life jackets. Some move at just 1 to 2 miles per hour. 25,000 Cubans without visas made it to the U.S. last year. There are no figures for how many attempted the journey and failed. Brett?
Steve Harrigan in Miami. Steve, thank you. This is a Fox News alert. KFOX 14 in El Paso, Texas, our affiliate there, is reporting an active shooter at the VA clinic next to William Beaumont Army Medical Center. That facility is now on lockdown, we have confirmed. El Paso police say they are assisting Fort Bliss personnel in responding. Viewers are saying they're seeing heavy police activity in that area. We'll continue to monitor this situation, but again, an active shooter is said to be at the William Beaumont Army Medical Center. We'll bring you an update as necessary. There are new concerns tonight about al-Qaeda's ability to make bombs that are undetectable by law enforcement. The latest issue of its propaganda journal, Inspire, features a 20-page section about a new generation of explosives that can be made from common household items. This dovetails with a recent U.S. assessment of the group's evolving tactics. Up next, Judgment Day for a man who was once a rising star in the GOP. First, here's what some of our Fox affiliates around the country are covering tonight. Fox 35 in Orlando with another delay in getting a private supply ship to the International Space Station. Today's scheduled launch of the SpaceX vehicle at Cape Canaveral was called off because of rocket trouble. The mission was delayed twice in mid-December. Fox 31 in Denver with growing anger over a massive delay at the airport's baggage claim for United Airlines. The company is blaming a new vendor, bad weather, and holiday travel. Some passengers have been forced to wait hours for their luggage to arrive. And from Las Vegas, from our affiliate out there, Fox 5, the big story there tonight, the annual Consumer Electronics Show. About 150,000 people and 3,000 exhibitors are expected. It'll feature all the latest consumer electronics, from smarter televisions, homes, and cars to wearable technology. The show is not open to the public. That is tonight's live look. As you look live in Las Vegas, down the strip there, outside the Beltway. From Special Report, we'll be right back.